Hello, welcome to the Prime Movie Recaps. Today, we are going to take a look at the 2020 sci-fi drama film called The Midnight Sky. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. 3 weeks after the catastrophe, a nuclear meltdown that has devastated most of the planet. It is February 2049. Augustine Lofthouse is a terminally sick scientist who stays at the Barbo Observatory while the rest of the community, including a mother yearning for her daughter, is evacuated by helicopter, who is told her daughter boarded an earlier flight. Augustine stays alone at the institution, where he takes his prescriptions, undergoes dialysis, and checks to see if any of the exploratory space missions in search of habitable worlds are still operational. He discovers one mission, Etha, is still operational. A young Augustine explains his findings on what additional planets might be habitable for human life in the film's flashback decades. After the lecture, Jean approaches him and inquires about the likelihood of what he's researching being true. Meanwhile, Sully, one of the astronauts on the Etha mission, is pregnant and has a nightmare about being abandoned on the planet that we're investigating. K-23, Captain Gordon, Maya, Sanchez, and Mitchell are the others on the assignment. Sully informs the rest of the crew that she has yet to receive any signal from Earth or anyone else. Augustine discovers a young girl hiding at the facility at Barbo. He tries unsuccessfully to contact someone to come back and fetch her, but no one responds. She doesn't say anything, but he notices her name when she draws a picture on a flower. He informs her that Etha is returning and that he must inform them of the events on Earth. Augustine is unable to communicate since the antenna is insufficient. Augustine advises Iris to always look at the star Polaris to find her way if she gets lost. Gordon writes in his captain's log that K-23 was a success, that it could sustain life, but that the inability to contact with home or anyone is concerning. In another flashback, Augustine and Jean are in a relationship, but he is chilly and only cares about his career, ignoring his own life. When she tells him she isn't pregnant after a pregnancy scare, he barely responds, and she walks away. Augustine informs Iris that there is one antenna that is more powerful than the one at Barbo, because it is further north, and the airspace may be clearer. He cautions her that the journey will be long. He packs his dialysis equipment, and the two of them set off to find the second station in the bitter Arctic weather. An alarm goes off on the Etha expedition, warning the team they've gone off track, and all hands are on deck. They try to stop the drifting by calculating a course through zone land that is unmapped and uncleared, which is a difficult and risky strategy. Augustine and Iris, meantime, spend the night in the cold tundra, and the next day, Augustine discovers a downed plane with the pilot dead inside. He investigates the hull and discovers a man who was alive but dying. The man requests that Augustine put him to death, which he does. More flashbacks indicate that Jean has a kid, whom she raises on her own. Augustine notices them and inquires if she's aware of him. Jean responds that if he wants their daughter to be aware of him, he can introduce himself. Meyer offers Sully an ultrasound on the Etha expedition, and Sully informs Gordon that they are expecting a girl. Augustine and Iris find a new location to sleep, a trailer, and Augustine requests that Iris ask him a question, which she does, until he wakes up to find the trailer flooded. He saves Iris, but the trailer and their vehicle sink into the ice. Taking with them the dialysis machine, they take refuge in an ice cave and devour what food they have left. Augustine loses Iris as they are caught in an icy windstorm that is nearly blinding. He hears wolves approaching and fires a warning shot to scare them away. He screams for Iris but is unable to locate her and collapses on the ground. He has a vision of Jean appearing to him, but it is Iris when he looks again. He gives her a hug, and they continue on their journey, eventually arriving at the opposite station. Mitchell congratulates Gordon on the birth of his daughter and advises him to name her Hyacinth after his mother, or some kind of flower, in space. Sully finally receives a signal and establishes contact with Augustine at the new station. She inquires as to why they are unable to speak with NASA. Augustine begins to tell Sully about what has transpired on Earth when a red alert sounds. The ship is being bombarded with meteorites as a result of traveling through unexplored space. They survive the meteor shower, but the ship has been damaged, and Sully's communications and radar have been lost. Because of the communications and radar damage, one of the crew members will have to perform a spacewalk to repair it. Meyer and Sully must leave, and Gordon joins them. The three of them start working on the ship's exterior. Sanchez uses their headsets to play Sweet Caroline for inspiration. Just as the ship is pummeling by more meteorites, they fix the radar and communication. They brace for impact and all make it out alive. But Maya spots blood inside her helmet as they walk back inside the ship. Gordon rushes her inside the airlock, but they must wait for it to depressurize before they can rescue her. Sanchez rushes to obtain a first aid kit. When they finally do, they remove her helmet, releasing hundreds of drops of blood. Maya does not survive as Sanchez applies pressure to the wound while Sully tries to communicate with her and keep her awake. The staff is heartbroken. Sanchez goes to a machine that plays memories of home for the staff, and he plays Maya's. The team finally notices that most of the Earth is smoldering and destroyed as Mitchell flies the ship as it reaches Earth. Augustine is dying without his dialysis machine, so Sully returns to communications and radios back to Earth. He informs them that the only places where they may survive are underground, and that these are only temporary, since Augustine has stated that Earth is unlivable. The majority of the crew wishes to return to K-23, while Mitchell, who has a wife and children, wishes to return home. Just as the Earth is melting down, they receive a signal from Mitchell's wife, claiming that the kids are unwell and she wants him to know where she's going. Mitchell informs Gordon that he understands Gordon's decision to return to K-23. Nonetheless, Mitchell plans to use a re-entry pod to travel to Earth in search of his family. Sanchez informs him that the pod requires 2 pilots and that he will accompany him. Mitchell believes he should stay. Sanchez informs him that his daughter died when she was 4 years old, and that he considers Maya to be his daughter, and that he wants to take Maya home with him. Mitchell recognizes and accepts that they will travel together. They bid Sully and Gordon farewell and depart for Earth. Sully sends Augustine a final message thanking him for everything he's done, mentioning how he's one of the reasons she joined the space program, and how he worked with her mother Jean. Sully explains her name is Iris Sullivan, Sully for short, and Augustine knows she is his daughter. Iris is revealed to be the daughter of Jean and Augustine in flashbacks. He expresses his delight at finally meeting her. He inquires about K-23, and she gives him a description of the planet. Augustine fantasies of being on the same planet with young Iris. Sully attempts to contact Augustine but receives no response. Perhaps he has succumbed to his illness, and she and Gordon realize it is just the two of them, so they plot a course towards K-23. With this, movie ends. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this and turn on notifications. And leave a comment to help the channel out.